Not done any damage. I have not detected.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nothing But Skills, and today we are going to be bringing you guys an updated AR build. I decided to play with it a little bit more, and with World Tier 5 coming out tomorrow, I felt like it was perfect time for me to drop this build. That way, when you guys get your World Tier 5 gear, you guys can kind of start speccing that gear to this build. Remember, there are some changes coming to the mods. There are some changes coming to the gear set, so we'll see exactly what all those changes are tomorrow. But before we get into the build, guys, I just want to say thank you guys again for all the support. Remember, if you're new to my channel and you found this video useful, always smash a thumbs up. It helps out my videos. If you guys are new and never seen one of my videos, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, because that way when I release a video, you guys get notified. So let's get into the build that you're just watching me melt players. So right now I am running a P416. This P416 is amazing, and the talents I am running on it are Breadbasket, Allegro, and it has Stop, Drop, and Roll. Now, the base damage on this gun is 16.9k, the RPM is 750, and the mag size is 60. Health damage is 29%. Remember, health damage is the damage you do after the armor bar is gone on players, right? And then if we get down to Breadbasket, landing body shots adds a stack bonus of 5% headshot damage to the next headshot for 10 seconds. So that means I can have a 50% stack on that player with the next headshot. So if I hit 10 shots to the body, before you know it, I'm going to be hitting really hard to the head. And then Allegro, since the P416 is really slow, you really need to have this on there, the 10% rate of fire, because the fact is you're going to put that extended mag that reduces the rate of fire. Now, they say they might take that away, but we'll see if the negative rate of fire goes away tomorrow. The way I have this modded is I'm running a hollow sight, crit chance 12%, negative 10% headshot damage, but I'm going to gain that back if I'm hitting those body shots and then I hit that headshot. So it'll even out, right? I'll get 40% headshot damage versus having 50% because of this scope. Now, the laser point is going to give me 10% critical hit chance, negative 10% stability. I'm not running a muzzle because I don't like any of the muzzle attachments I have. I have optimal range, negative stability, or have damage to elites, negative 15% stability. If this was a PvE build, I would run this muzzle brake of damage to elites, but since it's not, I'm not going to. And then for the magazine, I'm running the light extended magazine, 5.56 mag, plus 30 round, negative 10% rate of fire. Now, they did say tomorrow they're going to take away a lot of the negatives, but they didn't say exactly which negatives are taken away. So we might not have this negative 10 stability. We might not have this negative 10 headshot damage, but we might not have the high numbers of plus 12% crit chance. So we'll see what they do with the build tomorrow. Now, for my secondary, this is an amazing gun to get to run as your secondary. You never even have to use it. And the reason why is because the Chatterbox has a special talent at the bottom, which is called Blabbermouth. While holster, reloading your weapon within 5 seconds after a kill grants 20% rate of fire for 10 seconds. And you feel that 20% rate of fire when you reload after getting a kill with the P4. And that's why I tell you guys, if you guys can get this exotic, all you have to do is holster it. You're never really going to use it, but it's great for slow rate of fire guns like this who have high damage, because imagine adding 20% rate of fire to this gun. It just starts melting players. As you guys probably saw at the beginning, you're like, wow, his rate of fire is picked up, and that's what was happening. I was getting a kill, I reload, and then I finish off the second guy next to him. For the sidearm, I usually like having a sidearm that has stop, drop, and roll if it's not on one of my primary weapons. If you look at my P416, I already have it on there. So for me, it's a waste of having this one. But if you don't have a gun that has stop, drop, and roll, I really recommend you getting it. While equipped, rolling removes burning, bleed, and poison. And that means as long as it's equipped to your gear, it counts as being equipped. You don't have to switch to it. At first, the way it read is, you know, you have to switch to equipped, right? But no, as long as it's equipped to your gear, you're good to go. So as long as I have it on this slot right here, when I roll, I will remove those status effects. Now, if we get into the mask, I'm running a Providence mask. It's going to give me critical hit chance, health, and then remember the Providence defense set gives you skill power, health, and weapon damage. This is going to help me get to that health of 62,000. I always like being around 60,000 health on most of my builds. Now, the talents I have on here is a PvE build, so if I'm in the DZ, it's not bad. Hard hitting, 15% damage to elites. But if I could get something that works a little bit better, maybe put this health on kill, that would help me out a little bit more. So I'm thinking I might try to find one that has health on kill, switch it on over there, and then run that instead. For the chest piece, I'm running the chest piece that gives you 10% assault rifle damage. This is going to give me 5,300 bonus armor. It's going to give me weapon damage, and it's going to give me headshot damage. And then, of course, since I am using an AR, Berserk will be unlocked. I have that 10% weapon damage for every 10% max armor depleted. My armor is at 176,000. I also have 10% armor in here, hardened. And then I'm running a defensive protocol mod that's going to give me 2,100 health. It's going to give me health regen, and then it's going to give me skill health. So for the holster, it's giving me 7% crit hit damage for the brand set, plus the attributes give me 18% critical hit damage. And then one of my favorite talents to have on AR builds is Devastating, because it gives you that raw 5% weapon damage. And that, if you can get a couple pieces with this on there, it's very good for AR builds. Now, for my offensive protocol mod slot, I'm running a 2.5% weapon damage, and then, of course, 0.5 pistol critical hit damage. For the knee pads, this is the second of 3 Providence sets I have on. This is giving me the extra health and weapon damage. The attributes are 6,300 health, and then I have 20% explosive damage. Now, I would rather have something here than that 20% explosive damage. That's what I have for right now, but there are some other really good talents, like this 10% skill haste would be good to have on there. So if you can find something that's a little bit better, there's also talents like this, Cloaked. When your armor is depleted, nearby enemy skills are disrupted for 10 seconds, can occur every 30 seconds. So talents like that actually are something you would really look for versus having destructive on here. Now for the mods, I'm running an offensive protocol mod because I have an offensive protocol mod slot on here, and then it gives me an additional 2.5% weapon damage and that 0.5 marksman rifle. I'm not using a marksman rifle on this build, so that's a waste, but I'm really putting this on here for that 2.5% weapon damage. Now for my third piece of Providence set, this is unlocking the 5% weapon damage. I have assault rifle damage on here and skill power. Since this build isn't built around skill power, that's kind of a waste. I wouldn't mind having something maybe like another offensive stat like crit chance, or even like a defense stat on here would be a lot better. Now the talents I have on here are surgical, 8% critical hit chance. Now, since this is an AR build, you could probably get away with getting rid of that 8% critical hit chance and putting Devastating for that 5% weapon damage. And that would be a better roll on here, in my opinion. And then for the backpack, I am running health, weapon damage, critical hit chance, and then I'm running efficient. Using armor kits has 50% chance to not consume an armor kit. No other active talents affecting armor kits is allowed. And then I have vital. Health is increased by 20%. And then I'm running defensive system mods that's going to give me 2,100 bonus armor and 3% total armor. Now, a lot of people like running Safeguard, and what Safeguard does is killing a target grants 150% bonus to repairing and healing effects for 20 seconds. Now, the thing with this is you have to be at 5 offensive or less. Now, this works great when you start stacking builds that require that, because all those skills and all those talents work really good together. But since I'm running such a high offensive and 6 defense, I can't unlock that. So that's just something you guys have to pay attention to. Like if you want to have less offensive, but you guys want to build more around the talents themselves, which some of those builds come out really good, well then that's something you want to take in mind. Right now, efficient is one of the best talents to have on your backpack if you're running such high offensive like me, because there's not many talents that I can put on here that are worth it. But yeah, so my armor is 176,000. My health is 62,000. You can see I have 9 offensive, 6 defensive, and 1 skill power. If we get into the stats, this is where you're going to see where this build shines, right? If we go all the way down, you're going to see my weapon damage is 16.9k. My critical hit chance is 41.5%. My crit damage is 50%. My headshot damage is 56%. That's why this build does a lot of damage. Now, I could tweak it a little bit more to get a little bit more crit chance. But right now, at 41%, 50%, and then remember the crit strike range for AR is 10 to 45 meters. So anything under 10 to 45 meters, I'm not going to get that crit strike range. Anything between 10 to 45 is when I can't hit crit chance, crit damage. So that's what you guys have to pay attention to, right? And then, of course, what really makes this build is I have 25% all weapon damage, plus I have 30% assault rifle damage, and that's why you get so much damage out of this build, right? A lot of people are like, well, how do you have so much damage? And that is the reason right there. I've noticed a lot of the really good talents to kind of balance the game usually are at 5 offensive. and less. So if you're trying to stay under 5 offensive, some things you guys can do, maybe take off these mods, because these mods will drop you down. If you look, every time I drop it down, I'll start dropping down my offensive stat. But since I'm not really worried about the offensive stat because the talents on my gun don't require anything, it's 5 or more. The one talent that I do like that requires 5 or less is Optimus, and I would have to drop my offense down so that way I can get into that 5 and less range. But as of right now, I like how this build runs. I'm at 16.9k base damage, and this thing melts. If you guys watched any of these clips, it's just melting players. And if you guys have any questions on this build, remember, you guys can always ask me in the comment section. I feel that almost every AR in the game right now is really good. I like the CTAR. I like the military P416. I'm waiting to get an AK that has really good rolls on it so that way I can test it out, you know, because if you get a good AK but it doesn't have good rolls, it's not really worth it. So those are a couple things I'm doing. I really recommend you guys get in the chatterbox. That extra 20% rate of fire once you get a kill and you reload for those 10 seconds is amazing. As you guys are watching in this clip, this gun hits, and just having this chatterbox on there and having that talent holstered on there is perfect for this build. So if you guys like this updated build, make sure you smash a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions or any recommendations, use the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you don't see me in the dark zone, if you don't see me in conflict, it's only a matter of time. Nothing but skills is out.